Austin Walker.
Alex Navarro.
Take my hand.
I'm taking your hand.
Let's go on a journey together.
Okay. This is Journey?
This is Journey.
Journey came out, Alex.
It did.
A few years ago.
Yeah, it was in 2012.
We're just dipping back into it because you like it a bunch?
Well, I mean, I do. I adore Journey. I think it is by far the best game that that game company.
Which game company?
That game company.
I don't. Which one?
The one that Genova Chen owns. That's called That Game Company.
Damn it.
That company. I think it's by far their best game. I think it is. It makes a strong case for one of the best games of the last console generation.
Okay. And now it's out on PS4.
And now it is out on PlayStation 4. If you have already bought this game on PS3, it is a free download for you, the consumer.
To be clear, that's if you bought the digital download version.
If you bought the digital version.
If you bought like that collector's physical edition, you do not get this upgrade.
Which I did not do. So I had the downloadable version, and I got this for free. And I played through the whole thing again last night. Not really necessarily intending to, but I did. Because I just...
It's hard to pull yourself away.
This is not a game you can really stop playing, because it's meant to be played in like one sitting. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-hour game, if that. And you know, you're supposed to... You know, you're supposed to go through the whole deal, and I did. And I'm not going to say it was quite the emotional experience that it was the first time I played it.
Sure.
But it is still a hell of an experience.
Have you played it? This is the first time you played it since it originally came out?
So the second time. I played it through a second time after I reviewed it. Or actually, no, it was during the review process. And then I have not actually touched it since then. The last time I touched it was during the review stuff, and then I just had never found a chance to go back to it. But so I played it again yesterday. I've done the tilting thing. This is the one part of this game I don't like. It's the only thing, is this like little bit of controller instruction.
Yeah.
The whole point is I'm just supposed to be staring at that.
Right. There we go.
That's what I forgot. Okay.
This looks good.
Yeah.
Look at that shine on the sand.
Just look at the way it moves.
Look at the way the sand is moving. Yeah.
It is some 60 frames sand.
So is that the big thing that they've improved?
Yeah, so they've taken the core visuals, they've definitely done some lighting and some texture upgrades here and there, but mostly it is a 60 frame smooth game. I never saw a single bit of frame rate weirdness or anything, if that's the kind of thing you're into. Basically, they just polished the hell out of the existing game, and man, it is still something really to behold.
There's no other like new content or anything. It is just a straight remake.
Yeah, it is straight up. Here is the journey you may have played previously or not.
Right. Not a remake, a remaster, an HD.
An HD remaster.
Up-res, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Best title screen.
It's a fantastic title screen.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah. Now, you've never actually played
That's
Journey,
true.
have you?
So I wrote a post a few weeks ago, or I guess last week, when they announced that this was going to be part of the summer Play, the PlayStation Store Play program, which is kind of
the first game in that this year.
Right. And I relayed a story in which I explained that I never actually played this. I bought it intending to play it with a friend, ended up watching her play it instead, and then the next night I watched her mother, who is 50 or 60, play it. And that was actually the best experience in the world. You can read that on giantbomb.com, and you should go do that. But that's okay. Like,
I'm sorry, what is this website?
Giantbomb.com.
What is that? What is that a website
It's
about?
a website about video games.
Is it?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to finally play this game, I think, maybe this weekend. I'm going to sit down and, like, you can tell I'm a little sick. Maybe what I need is a little journey, you know?
I think this might be the tonic.
The tonic for what ails me.
Yeah.
I have a fever, and what I need is some fluids and some journey.
I mean, maybe not in that order, but
okay.
whatever, however you want to approach it. I take a holistic approach to this. Do what feels right.
Sounds good. So for someone who's maybe never seen this before,
yes.
What are you doing? What are these little scarf things? Why is your scarf glowing?
These are all good questions that do not have definitive answers.
Tell me the deep lore of Journey.
That's the thing. My perception of this game has always been that it is kind of like intentionally ambiguous about certain things. Not necessarily its themes. Like, this is very much a game about life, death, rebirth, all that fun stuff. But like, it doesn't really go out of its way to explain a lot of things to you, and I think that's kind of what works. It is so good about creating very subtle visual cues for what you should be working toward, pushing toward, walking toward, that you just kind of figure it out as you go.
Right. It's not about, you don't ever learn the name of an ancient empire or find out the name of an old leader or anything like that. Is not this game, but this game is very good at evoking those things.
And thank Christ for that, because I don't know if I remember I said this in my review or not, but like 85% of other games that would try something like this would tell its story essentially by just explaining, and then the traveler traveled to the kingdom of what, and it would just be a whole lot of exposition that wasn't really worth anything.
Whereas this is just kind of like hieroglyphics of people who look like you laying down in front of gravestones, and like, oh, okay, I guess this is a cemetery.
This is probably a cemetery. This is also probably indicative of what I am working toward, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it is good about just saying enough without actually having to spell it out. So with the scarf thing, that is essentially your jump ability.
Okay.
You earn that when you first kind of get that little scarf boost you saw at the beginning there.
It's like when it starts glowing, when you have to kind of characters show up on your
anytime
scarf.
You see these little shreds of scarf around, that's going to recharge your ability as you go around.
What is that glowing thing?
That is what extends my scarf, which I don't know if I can get to from up here, but...
Good shot.
Oh, yep, there we go.
Good job.
So that makes my scarf a little bit longer.
So that means you can like jump an extra time or a little further?
Just a little bit longer, a little bit further, if that's what you're looking to do. The thing is, you can't really lose scarf for the most part, except for a couple of parts later on in the game where there are actually some enemies.
Okay.
But they're not like, you're not running around fighting them. It's mostly you're trying to avoid them.
So I'm like jumping on no heads in this game?
Yeah.
I thought this was a platform.
No, it's kind of not really that. It's more just, if there is an enemy, it is an obstacle that you are trying to avoid while continuing on your journey.
I'm shocked that you didn't say like, if there is an enemy, it's like the self or something very
it also probably
emotional.
Is, yeah. There's definitely some super fun themes of like, self-sacrifice and the journey of life and all of that here. But I try not to read too much into it and just kind of let it stand on its own terms. Okay, so I have just activated this altar here. And now I am going to, meditate on some shit.
Yeah. I'd go for some meditation.
Yo, God! I got some questions. What is all this shit? What am I doing here? Oh, okay.
I'm very excited for Alex Navarro Presents the Bible coming soon.
Yeah, no, it's 36-part series. Pretty much read exactly in that tone the entire way. I occasionally do a little Godfrey just to, kind of just change things up a little bit.
Which is he like? Is he Peter? Is he Judas?
Job.
Oh, he's yeah. Okay, yeah. He could be a Job. He could definitely be a Job. It's really hard to talk during this because I want to soak in it.
That's the thing, is like this is a game that, for my part, I would much rather play in a dark room with all just no distractions whatsoever.
How does that differ from most things you would rather do?
I mean, in general, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm really not one of those people that like needs a theater-like experience for most things. Like I can totally deal with like random distractions and still enjoy myself. This is one of the few where I'm like, nah, I just want to drink this in, man. Right. I just want the full unsullied experience, which I got last night, so that was fine. Now I'm perfectly happy to talk over this shit now.
So how did you feel about the previous That Company games?
So I thought, what was the first one?
Flow.
I thought Flow was a really interesting screensaver.
Yep. Okay.
It visually, very interesting. It was experimental at a time when there weren't a lot of experimental games at all on consoles, so I thought it was kind of neat. But if you asked me to play it now, I don't know if I would even want to. Flower, I think, was a much better experience, though also still kind of felt like they were finding their footing in terms of like what level of interactivity they wanted to include versus just sort of the, kind of let's just let the art happen in front of the player kind of thing. This to me was the full realization of what I felt like they were always kind of angling toward, you know?
Right. Like nailing movement that feels good through environments that are really pretty, but here maybe a little bit more directed.
Yeah.
But still dodging the kind of the faults of a lot of other games where they would turn it into a big combat experience or turn it into a big lore dump where it is all about learning this very specific things. Like there is a happy medium here between the kind of free-flowing experiences that the previous games gave you and something a little bit more directed, a little bit more more traditionally structured.
Sure.
And they nailed it. You know?
Yeah. No, I think this is the exact kind of thing that like they were always angling toward. It's just it took them a couple of games to figure that out, and I think that the previous experiments like Flower and Flow were good, but also not necessarily the sorts of things you want to kind of like keep playing over and over again, and not like a real heavy emotional investment in either one.
Sure.
Like Flower had kind of a neat ending, but it was also just kind of like a weird floaty thing that you barely played. This, I swear, I'm not exaggerating. The first time I played this game, I straight up cried at the end.
Alex.
Straight up.
Buddy.
I teared up.
That's fair. This is an emotional game.
And my girlfriend who was watching me play at the time did the exact same thing. Both of us were just kind of looking at each other like, why are we crying at this? Why is this happening? That's what my girlfriend sounds like, by the way.
Yeah, that's fair. I met your girlfriend this weekend.
His old 1940s dock worker stereotype.
That is what she was.
Yeah.
She is a dock worker.
Totally.
As I understand it.
Yeah. Come on.
So the other thing that's interesting...
There we go.
Excuse me. Like I said, I'm sick. The other thing that's interesting here for me is where this game came out, the kind of what the state of independent game development was at the time.
Right.
And the way that this game was one of those first games that had, or a lot of what that game company did was it hit a lot of the chords that independent game development was hitting, but was doing it explicitly for Sony.
Right.
Like, all of those games were published by Sony, is that right?
I believe so, yeah. I think their initial deal with Sony was a 3-game exclusive deal.
Right. So it's an early example of Sony being invested in this idea that has kind of come to define them in their PS4 era, which is like relationships with small developers.
And you think about that, like the early PS3, especially like the early PSN stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's Flow, it's everyday shooter.
Everyday
like
shooter's so good.
It's these weird, like almost like bedroom style experiments where I'm amazed anyone was willing to give those games a shot at the time, because just when you look at what those systems were populated with at the time, nothing like that.
Right.
Consoles were not populated with games like that at all.
Yeah.
So like the fact that those games did well enough for them to, kind of continue that relationship, keep pushing in that direction, I think is fantastic.
Well, and it's interesting because now you would never, like something like Flow or like Everyday Shooter, those games would be like yeah, of course they're going to be on our console.
Right.
We want those now. Whereas at the time there really was something unique in that happening. And in general, the other thing is like, there are so many games like those games now. I'm not saying that to diss them, right?
But it's like they
game development has gotten a little bit easier. There are better roadmaps for getting into game development. There are better resources in place for people who want to try it out and do that sort of bedroom game dev stuff. So it's weird to think about something like Flow, which at the time felt so strange and evocative and unlike anything else that I had played. And then like now, I could boot up 12 different websites right now and play games on each of them that came out today that are all just as strange and weird.
Right,
as
they're all
Flow
in the same
was.
basic ballpark. And,
Right.
and I mean, it's, I was talking to someone the other day about Keita Takahashi,
sure.
and just sort of like the long shadow that dude and his sort of creative style is like cast over, like especially independent game development these days. But I think you could say the same thing about like, the early That Game Company stuff. And I mean, maybe, I feel like Journey came along at a time when that stuff when independent games sort of became much more of a thing. But like, their early works, the stuff like Everyday Shooter, like all that stuff definitely casts a similarly long shadow. Oh, hey, I've got a friend. We haven't even talked about the multiplayer part of this game yet.
Hi.
Which is, hey, check it out. Every once in a while, someone will just show up in your
look at their
game.
dope scarf. Their scarf is a little longer than yours.
I am so jealous.
Maybe I'm just imagining that. So yeah, so this is like also it's like drop in, drop out, but not on your own choice. Like just sometimes you run into a person.
And in different places too. Like the first time I played this game, there are some discrete environments in this game, not just deserts the whole way through.
Right.
I got to the weird sort of underground tunnel level before I saw anyone.
Okay.
That was much earlier on, before I think everyone actually had the game. But then, these days it seems like every time I play it, like last night, it was right around here that people started showing up.
Right, and the only thing you can really do is chirp at each other, right?
Right. You can chirp at each other. Like this is how you communicate. Is just by different sustainings of that chirping noise.
Right. You're gonna sit together and just
we're gonna meditate on some shit some more.
Some cooperative meditation.
And I love that. I love that design. Like the idea that, the people you journey with, it's up to you whether you want to stick with them or not. If they get too far away from you, I think they disconnect from your game.
That's how I understand, yeah.
And I think that's a really cool choice. And I love the little thing at the end that pops up and tells you like who you met along the way.
Yeah, me too. So that's part of the story that I ended up writing about in the piece from last week is my friend's mother ended up playing most of the game with someone who had played that game a ton.
That's right. And there's a whole segment of people who do this.
Yeah, there's a whole segment of people who, or at least there were 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago when this came out, who got their white robes, which you get I think if you get every last scrap of the scarf, like every hidden scarf upgrade, you get a white robe that I think gives you infinite jump. Basically, is it the scarf upgrade or is it just the number of times played? I've heard differing explanations. Things too, yeah. So, but there's a group of people who just got that, and then they kept playing the game and would go back to meet new players and like lead them through, like Sherpa them through the game, and then after they were done, they would go back and write about their experiences playing the game.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And the guy who led my friend's mom through it was like a 70-year-old man who was just like he seemed rad as hell. Like that's what he did on his weekends, was like he booted up his PS3 to play Journey with randos and like just had real intimate experiences. Like video games, like they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that, as much as I think this game would still be totally effective as a solo experience, there's something about the end, which I'm not going to say a single word about if you've never played it. Just the ending has a deeply felt emotional attachment to it that I sort of don't even really know how to explain. But going through that with another person, like there's like that feeling is heightened in a way.
Yeah. Because it's a very limited sort of connectivity that we don't get most of the time in our games, right? Like, I think a lot has been said about how the value of the fact that there isn't a chat system in this game, right?
Yes.
No one was calling you a racial slur
or
while
just,
you were going through it. But also just like being in silence with someone and experiencing something is just valuable and weird, and it's not the way we live most of our lives, Well,
I think, part of the reason why I say the part of that game I like the least is that little controller introduction thing at the beginning, because it is literally the only intrusion during gameplay of anything that feels even remotely real world.
Right.
There's no communication, there's no English text, there's nothing that like says like, oh, hey, by the way, you're playing a fantasy.
Right.
It's
there's
just
no
like
HUD elements. There's no
nothing. Even when you pause, you just sit down. There's no menu that pops up when you do that. So, I like that the game is so adamant about not distracting you until you've reached its conclusion.
Right. And like obviously there have been lots of conversations about whether immersion is a real thing or not, and etc. But I think that there's still regardless of where you come down on that stuff, like there is something unique about the way this game presents like your relationship with the screen and what's happening compared to every other game where there would be so many things exploding in your face. And I don't just mean combat games or violent games. I just mean like in general, games are all a lot about information and giving you kind of the numbers about what's happening, or and this communicates information to you through things like the scarf length and the color and stuff like that, but in a way that is not, it doesn't break the sort of, I don't want to use the word immersion.
But I mean, that's what it is. It's completely enveloping you in the sense of place that it is trying to convey, and it does very little to distract you from that. And I think that's extremely admirable, and I think that's what makes the game so effective.
Yeah, totally.
Because, I mean, at its heart, it's a fairly simple platformer.
Well, and it's trusting in the player in a real way, right? Like, it's saying, like, no, you got this. Like, we don't need to point you in a direction to where your next objective is. We're going to design the level where that happens naturally for you.
Right.
Where, like, you're just pointed in that direction based on the way the levels are designed. And we trust you to be able to figure this stuff out, and that you'll enjoy it more if we don't hold your hand here. You know? Which, again, isn't a shot at games that hold your hand. Like, I also like games that hold my hand sometimes.
But this is designed in a way so that it doesn't have
to. Exactly. And that's really great. And also just fucking look at it. It's so
Yeah.
good. It's so pretty. Fuck.
Like, what are these weird cloth birds that are flying around? You know what?
question.
I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Because it's just so... I don't know, man. It's just...
So this is a weird thing, but part of the bits of Destiny that worked for me felt are the bits that worked from this too, where like, man, I don't really need to know what a hobgoblin is. Like, it's a weird fucking alien thing. That's cool. That's cool enough for me. Or like, the reason I thought of that is you just walked past this environment thing just now that was like that kind of the ruined building there, and it reminded me of some of the architecture in Destiny 2, where it was like, hey, like this space feels genuine in a way that a lot of physical spaces and games don't.
Totally.
And that's the stuff for me that worked really well in Destiny, and it's why I was kind of okay with not getting story stuff. That said, obviously, Destiny is no Journey.
Yeah, it's not. I'm sure someone's gonna be real mad at me for saying or agreeing with that.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
I say again, this is definitively one of my absolute favorite games of the last generation, and I think that, you know, it's something that anyone who owns one of these PlayStation platforms just ought to have on principle.
Oh, it's so good. I love the way the sand moves when these kite birds or whatever, these kite dolphins, these air dolphins, these claw...
I mean, they kind of look more like jellyfish in a way,
jellyfish.
like they're swimming.
Yeah. Did you lose your partner?
No, he's over there.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Soundtrack is also fantastic.
Oh, it's Austin Wintory has never done better work than in this game. And he's done some pretty spectacular work elsewhere as well. Come to me. Energize me, damn it.
No, you're not going to get any help. The little, like, schools of fish, like, And yeah, I can definitely tell that the lighting here has been
improved
in some
considerably,
way.
I would say. You know, I don't even
think
care.
your partner's moved on a little bit?
Yeah, I've already played this stuff so many times. Like, I'm not even really worried about collecting all this stuff.
Right. And now that game company is done with their deal with Sony.
That's my understanding.
As far as we know.
I don't pretend to know the ins and outs of their business dealings, but my understanding is that they are, in fact, done with Sony exclusivity, and that whatever the next thing they're doing is, they are targeting toward multiple platforms, though I don't know if that's actually been confirmed or not.
I'm very interested. You know?
But that's just what I seem to remember hearing.
I'm very curious to see what some of these defining, indie games from the last generation, what the developers of those are going to do now in this generation, where there's been such a proliferation of other small games.
Totally.
Between whatever that game company does next, and we've talked a lot about The Witness, it's a high bar.
It is. It's an incredibly high bar. Oh, there's like a whole other thing over here, too.
Is that a big tree? What is it? No, it's just the way the clouds are splitting made me think it was a big tree.
I'm coming. Don't worry about me. I'll get there. I forgot this was even over here. There isn't like a ton of exploration in this game. Like there's you can definitely find parts like this where it's like, oh hey, by the way, here's a piece of the relic that you didn't see before.
Right. It's always felt like a little bit like a football field, and that like, okay, I know I'm supposed to go this way. I'm supposed to go straight ahead, but also there's a little bit of wiggle room to the left and right as I go that way.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah, it's like I've definitely tried to break this before, where I've like tried to go up on like some of the towers that it seems like there's really no good reason to go there, just to kind of see what's up there, and there's not really anything.
Yeah. The use of this mountain in the distance is just so good throughout this game too.
Well, it's like it's the all-purpose beacon to where you should be heading.
Yeah.
And it's, obviously it has its spiritual connotations here as well. but it's also just a really good benchmark for like, you know, like we don't have to give you like a pointer to tell you where to go. It's just like, nope, this is the thing you are going toward. Yeah. Always go toward that.
This seems dangerous.
God damn, this game. I think we're just going to go through this part and then we're going to call it, because I think this, like I said, this is a game best experienced on your own in total seclusion.
Or with someone, you know, you're close to.
Yes.
But like, not with us.
Yes. We are not the ideal guides for this game.
I hope you're not gonna.
Oh, really they made it. They know what they were doing. Thank you. Well, yes, I will ride you up to here.
Oh, they're locked. They're locked in there.
Not that one.
Let them go.
Lift me up.
And again, like it is a dense game, dense with like symbols and meaning that you can unpack, but it doesn't do that work.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't beat you over the head with it. It's like you're welcome to divine whatever you want out of the imagery you're seeing.
And so you can charge the other person's jumps. That's one of the co-op
mechanics?
So
when you do really all you have to do is stand next to each other.
Okay.
And that'll do it. Come here.
Hey.
Do your thing. Come on. Here we go. All right.
I want to meditate too.
I can't remember if the next part is the part with the slide, because if it is, that's the number. We're gonna do that, because that is the visual highlight of this game. I want to say there's one more part, but I don't know. I can't remember. There were whole parts of this game I had completely forgotten about before I played it last night. Where do these pedestals go?
I'll say this too, like I'm not a super religious dude, but I think that this is a game that takes some of the experience of religiosity of like
is that a word?
Yeah, of
I
having
believe you.
A deep faith and and believing in something that's a lot bigger than you, and like going through trials and it impacts it uses those sorts of feelings. And again, like, I'm not the dude who gets blown away by that stuff. Or, there's another way to think about it, too, right? Like, it reminds me a lot of, like, a Terrence Malick film in some ways, where it's like the beauty of nature and life, and it's overwhelming, and it's so much bigger than just, like, an individual thing. Also, I think this is the sliding bit. It might be wrong, but...
Oh, no, this is it. This is it.
That's what I thought.
I see the landmarks that tell me that we are about to do some sliding. Hell yeah.
Oh, this is so dope. Oh, this music is so good. Yo, hit that fucking ramp. Do it. Oh, look at that. That was a good trick.
Yeah. This was my sick 360 Nolly Japan Air.
Okay. What if the next Tony Hawk game just looked like this?
I mean, if this is what the new Tony Hawk looked like, I would be very... I mean, I'm already... Whatever, I like Tony Hawk, but still, it's like, hell yeah, do this.
Oh, yeah.
There's like 2 sliding bits, too. Yeah. Like, there's a part, you come out here, and then it goes further.
Does it do that? Oh, right. Oh, you're a pro. You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. No. Ah, God damn it, Alex.
I think I burned a little too much scarf.
You burned too much scarf. Yeah, yeah. I think you did too. Hit that scarf a little too hard. A sticky icky.
Ooh, wait. Goodness gracious.
Are we close to that second?
Yeah, I think we are. It's literally, I think it's just getting these few scarves going, and then we move on to the next bit. So I want that side view.
Yeah,
That's
me
that
too.
side
Me
view
too.
section. That's the dopest.
I thought there was another person with you, and it gave
There
us like the
was.
little white.
Yeah, I still saw
Glow.
the white glow, but I don't know, maybe they bailed or they're.
Oh no, they're there.
there they
They're
are.
over there.
It's like, hey, I'm over here. I'm doing a thing. Don't
And again,
worry.
like this could be the same person that you were playing with as before, or this could be a new player.
It's
completely.
uncertain. Yeah, you don't know until the end how many different people you you played against or not against with.
Competitive journey.
Ugh, Journey speedrun.
Well, enough for Twitch plays journey. Chirp, 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 chirp. No, we have to go forward. We have to go chirp, chirp. That's my impression of Twitch plays journey.
And off someone goes. Hell yeah!
Oh, here it is.
All right, wait for my homie over here.
Hey. You. Hey.
Yo! Hey! Guy!
I don't.
Fuck this shit.
Yeah, I think
I'm
you-
out!
Gotta go have your own fun.
Fuck friendship. Slide! Is what I'm saying.
The only friend you need is downhill.
Let's go
Go
this
through
way.
these gates, yeah. If you go through like 3 of them in a row, then you get the twin laser, and that's really,
Sick.
it's really good.
I'm waiting for the option.
Okay. Oh, the sound looks so good.
Yup.
I know that's not like a deep critical thought, but fuck.
But for like a game like this that is so about just kind of like
yeah,
just the vibe and just the visual palette, like
Yeah.
it's just such an amazing look.
and it's been a few years, and obviously this has been
I earned the adventure trophy.
Yeah, great.
I went on an adventure.
this has been updated in this new version, but this just looks so unlike anything else that
Like, oh
we've
man,
played.
that lighting.
I know. Here it is.
Here it is.
Yes.
This is like euphoric.
Yeah, like I've seen screenshots of this shot, all week for the last week and a half or whatever, and it still just gave me chills.
It doesn't
when you
even
pulled
do
in
it
there.
justice because when
yeah.
you see it in motion, it's I don't know, man. There's just some, like this is my ASMR. Like just this shot right here. Like this is giving me the brain tingles right here. And we continue to slide. Forever sliding.
really interested to see what they do after this.
Me too.
And again, a couple of the people who were key
Right, Kelly Santiago has
is
moved
gone,
on. Robin Huneke has
Right.
moved on.
is now working with Kada
Yeah.
on Watam. Watam?
I go back and forth.
Okay.
I'm flying! I'm flying! Oh no.
Oh, no,
Oh
you're
no.
not. No,
Oh
no.
no.
Nope.
Ah. Ugh. All right.
Journey's great.
Journey is fantastic.
I think I'm gonna play that this weekend.
I believe the quote of mine they used in the promo trailer was where I called it a masterpiece. And you know what?
Wow, is this the only thing you've ever called a masterpiece?
In an official review capacity,
Yeah.
yeah. Like there are other games I certainly think are masterpieces,
sure,
but
sure.
like in terms of this is actually in a text review that I've written, that's
Mm-hmm.
probably the only time I've said it. And you know what?
Stand by it.
As true today as it was in 2012.
Well, thanks for going on the journey with me, Alex.
Thank you, Austin. Go on the rest of the journey yourself, folks. Again, it's free if you already bought it on PS3 digitally. Otherwise, I think it's like $20. Like,
Yeah. And it's one of those things where you get like discounts on the other games in the Play
Right.
program.
So, play Journey. I don't care how you do it. Just play Journey. Thanks, everyone.